彼は口では何でも言う。だが本気ではない女性にだけ絶対にしない行動がある。優しい。連絡も来る。一緒に過ごす時間もある。それなのにどこか決定的な一線が越えられない。名前のない距離。説明されない未来。触れられない確信。あなたはなぜと考え続ける。自分の何が足りないのか。もう少し近づけば変わるのか。待てば本気になるのか。だがこの問い自体がすでに答えを示している。これは恋愛テクニックの話ではない。無意識が引く線引きの話だ。カール・ユングは語った。人の行動は意識の言葉よりも無意識の選択にこそ真実が現れる。男性が本気ではない女性に絶対にしない行動。それは感情の強さでも会う頻度でも言葉の甘さでもない。それは自己の確信を差し出す行為だ。無意識は危険を知っている。本気になる相手だけに越えていい線と越えてはいけない線をはっきり分けている。人の心は思考、感情、感覚、直感。4つの心理機能で世界を捉える。男性が本気ではないとき、彼の支配機能は常に管理に向いている。距離を保つ。期待を与えすぎない。責任を曖昧にする。感情は使うが、感情を預けない。直感は感じるが、未来を描かない。この違いは言葉には出ない。だが行動には必ず現れる。彼はあなたに会う。笑う。触れる。だが人生の重要な場面にあなたはいない。選択の相談。価値観の葛藤。弱さの告白。そこにあなたの席は用意されていない。それは冷たさではない。悪意でもない。無意識の線引きだ。ユング心理学では男性が女性に本気になるとき、アニマが活性化する。アニマとは男性の無意識にある感受性、内省、つながり。だが本気ではない女性に対してアニマは開かれない。彼は自分の弱さを見せない。不安を共有しない。依存の可能性を遮断する。それは無自覚だ。だが極めて正確だ。ここであなたに問いかけたい。あなたは彼の行動ではなく彼の言葉を信じていないだろうか。もし無意識はすでに線を引いているとしたら、あなたはその線を越えようとして自分を削っていないだろうか。この先で語られるのは男性が本気ではない女性には絶対にしない行動。それは多くの人が見落としているが、一度気づけば二度と見逃せなくなる。次の章で最初の禁断の行動が明らかになる。それは愛情表現よりも沈黙よりもはるかに残酷ではるかに正直だ。あなたはこの続きを自分の過去と重ねずに聞けるだろうか。彼はあなたを大切にはする。だが人生の判断には絶対に巻き込まない。あなたは感じているはずだ。楽しい時間は共有される。笑顔も会話も優しさもある。それなのに重要な局面になると、あなたは突然外に置かれる。仕事の選択、将来の決断、人生の方向性。彼は一人で決める。もしくは別の誰かに相談する。あなたはそこにいない。これは偶然ではない。忙しさの問題でもない。無意識による明確な線引きだ。カール・ユングは、人は無意識の中で誰と人生を共有するかを常に選別していると述べた。本気になる相手とは未来を一緒に考える。本気ではない相手とは現在だけを消費する。彼があなたに重大な決断を相談しないとき、それは信頼がないからではない。責任を結びたくないからだ。男性が本気でないとき、 思考機能は意図的に閉じられる。考えることは責任を引き受けること。論理を共有することは未来を共有すること。彼はそれを避ける。感情は共有する。感覚的な楽しさも共有する。だが、思考つまり判断だけは渡さない。ここに最初の決定的なサインがある。あなたがどう思うと聞くと彼はこう言う。君の好きにしていいよ。どっちでもいいと思う。そこまで考えてない。一見優しさに見える。だがこれは関与の拒否だ。本気の相手には男性はこう言う。一緒に考えたい。君の意見を聞きたい。これは俺たちの問題だ。この言葉が出ないとき、無意識はすでに線を引いている。決断を共有するという行為は自分の弱さを見せることでもある。迷い、不安、失敗の可能性。本気ではない女性に男性はそれを見せない。なぜなら、その人を内側に入れる覚悟がないからだ。ここで、あなたに問いかけたい。あなたは、口出ししない女を良い女だと思い込んでいないだろうか。もし、意見を求められない関係が楽なのだとしたら、それは本当に対等な関係だろうか。男性が本気ではない女性に絶対にしない行動。それは人生の決断を相談すること。これをしない限り、どれだけ優しくても、どれだけ一緒にいても、無意識の線は越えられていない。だが、これはまだ表層に過ぎない。次の章で語られる行動は、さらに深い。もっと無意識的で、もっと残酷だ。それは、男性が自分の弱さをどこまで差し出すかという問題だ。あなたは、その違いに気づいていただろうか。彼は笑顔を見せる。だが、弱さだけは絶対に差し出さない。あなたは彼の楽しい面を知っている。冗談、余裕、軽やかさ。だが彼の崩れた姿を見たことがあるだろうか。失敗した夜、自信を失った瞬間、自分を疑っている時間。そこにあなたは呼ばれていない。それは偶然ではない。タイミングの問題でもない。無意識による明確な遮断だ。男性は本気ではない女性に自分の弱さを預けない。ユングは語った。人は自分の影を誰に見せるかを無意識で選んでいる。影とは弱さ、恐れ、劣等感、自信のなさ。本気になる相手には影を見せる。なぜなら、それを見せても関係が壊れないと信じているからだ。だが、本気ではない女性には影を隠す。彼は崩れない自分だけを見せ続ける。それは優しさではない。距離の維持だ。男性が本気でないとき、感情機能は意図的に使われない。感じていないわけではない。ただ、共有しない。感情を共有することは、依存の可能性を開くことだからだ。彼は楽しさは共有する。刺激も共有する。だが、脆さは共有しない。ここに二つ目の決定的な線がある。あなたが最近どうと聞いても彼はこう答える。大丈夫だよ。問題ない。順調。それ以上踏み込ませない。だが、本気の相手には違う。正直、少し不安だ。自信がなくなってる。どう思う？この言葉があなたに向けられていないなら、無意識はすでに答えを出している。弱さを見せるとは、相手を自分の内側に入れることだ。それは、拒絶される可能性を引き受ける行為でもある。本気ではない相手に、男性はそのリスクを取らない。だから、距離を保つ。それは残酷だが、正直だ。ここで、あなたに問いかけたい。あなたは、彼の元気な顔だけを見て安心していないだろうか。もし、弱さを見せられない関係が安全だと感じるとしたら、 それは本当に親密だろうか。男性が本気ではない女性に絶対にしない行動。それは自分の弱さを打ち明けること。どれだけ一緒にいても、どれだけ優しくても、この行動がなければ線は越えられていない。だが、弱さよりもさらに深い領域がある。次の章で語られる行動は、男性の無意識における最終防衛線だ。それは未来に関わる行動。あなたはそこに自分の席があるかどうか考えたことがあるだろうか。彼は今を楽しむ。だが未来だけは決してあなたの前に置かない。あなたは感じている。一緒にいる時間は悪くない。会話もある。笑顔もある。それなのに未来の話になると空気が変わる。予定は曖昧になる。言葉は濁される。話題は自然にそらされる。あなたは重くなりたくないと思って深追いしない。だがその遠慮こそが無意識の線引きをさらに強固にしている。カール・ユングは未来への想像は直感機能によって行われると述べた。直感とは可能性を感じ取る力。まだ形のないものを心の中に描く力だ。男性が本気になるとき、直感は自然に開かれる。この人とどんな人生になるだろうか。だが、本気ではない女性に対して直感は意図的に閉じられる。なぜなら、未来を描くことは責任を引き受ける準備だからだ。男性が本気でないとき、直感機能は使われない。感覚は使う。今の楽しさ、今の快楽、今の安心、感情も使う。優しさ、親しさ、居心地。だが、直感未来を描く力だけは遮断される。だから、いつか、そのうち、今は考えてない。という言葉が増える。それは曖昧さではない。線引きの言語化だ。あなたが、来年はどうしてると思う？と聞くと、彼は笑って答える。わからないな。先のことは考えないタイプなんだ。だが、本気の相手には違う。まだわからないけど、一緒に考えたい。君がどう思うか聞きたい。この違いは、性格ではない。無意識の選別だ。未来を語ることは、相手を人生の一部として迎え入れる行為だ。本気ではない女性に、男性はそれをしない。なぜなら、別れの可能性を残しておきたいからだ。無意識は知っている。未来を語った瞬間、戻れない線を越えてしまうことを。ここで、あなたに問いかけたい。あなたは、今が楽しいからいい、と自分に言い聞かせていないだろうか。もし、未来が語られない関係が軽さではなく回避だとしたら、あなたは、そこに居続けられるだろうか。男性が本気ではない女性に絶対にしない行動。それは未来を一緒に語ること。予定ではない。約束でもない。想像を共有することだ。それがない限り、無意識の線は厳然として存在している。だが、未来よりもさらに深い層がある。次の章で語られる行動は、男性が最後まで守り続ける境界線。それは、社会的な世界にあなたを入れるかどうかという問題だ。あなたは、そこに自分の居場所を感じているだろうか。彼は、あなたと会う。だが、自分の世界には決して入れない。あなたは、こう感じたことはないだろうか。二人きりの時間はある。連絡も来る。距離も近い。それなのに彼の人生の外側にあなたは立っている。友人に合わせない。同僚の話をしない。家族の話題は避ける。あなたはまだ早いだけ。彼はプライベートを大ごとにする人、そう自分に言い聞かせる。だが、これは性格ではない。無意識の線引きだ。カール・ユングは、人は社会の中で、ペルソナ、仮面を使うと述べた。仕事の自分、友人の前の自分、 家族の中の自分、本気になる相手には、これらの世界を徐々につなげていく。なぜなら、それは人生を統合する行為だからだ。だが、本気ではない女性に対して、男性はこの統合を避ける。あなたを切り離された空間に置いておく。それが無意識の防衛だ。彼は感覚機能を使ってあなたと関わる。会う。触れる。一緒に過ごす。だが、社会的感覚つまり他者の視線がある場にはあなたを入れない。それは責任を可視化したくないからだ。誰かに見られることで関係は現実になる。彼はそれを避けている。あなたは彼の友人の名前をほとんど知らない。仕事の悩みも表層しか共有されない。彼の人生の中であなたは単独で存在する。それは特別だからではない。統合されていないからだ。本気の相手には男性はこう言う。今度友達に会わせたい。職場でこんなことがあって、家族の話だけど。この言葉がないなら無意識は線を引いている。誰かを自分の社会的世界に入れることは逃げ場を減らすことだ。別れた時、説明が必要になる。関係性が残る。本気ではない女性に男性はそのリスクを取らない。だからあなたは秘密のままにされる。ここであなたに問いかけたい。あなたは人に合わせない優しさを信じていないだろうか。もし外に出ない関係が守られているのではなく隔離されているとしたら、あなたはそれでも納得できるだろうか。男性が本気ではない女性に絶対にしない行動。それは自分の社会的世界に入れること。友人、仕事、人間関係。ここに入れられていない限り、どれだけ近くても無意識の線は越えられていない。だが、ここまで来てもまだ確信ではない。次の章で語られる行動は、男性が最も慎重に扱う領域。それは、あなたの価値をどう扱うかという問題だ。あなたは尊重されていると感じているだろうか。彼はあなたを傷つけないようにはする。だが、あなたの価値を守る行動は絶対に取らない。あなたは彼から乱暴に扱われてはいない。罵倒もされていない。露骨に否定されたこともない。それなのに、心のどこかで感じているはずだ。大切にされていないという違和感を。それは愛情がないからではない。優しさが偽物だからでもない。尊重が行動として現れていないからだ。カール・ユングは人が何を価値あるものとして扱うかは意識ではなく無意識が決めていると考えた。口では尊重を語れる。態度でも優しくできる。だが、失うリスクを取る行動だけは無意識が本音を暴く。本気の相手に対して男性はこう考える。失いたくない。傷つけたくない。この人の価値を下げたくない。だからこそ行動が変わる。本気ではないとき、男性の思考機能は合理化に使われる。今はタイミングじゃない。深く考えすぎだ。問題にするほどのことじゃない。一方で、感情機能はあなたのそばに押し付けられる。傷つくのはあなた。悩むのはあなた。不安を処理するのもあなた。この非対称が無意識の線引きだ。彼はあなたが傷つく可能性のある行動を避けない。曖昧な関係を続ける。他の女性の存在をはっきり否定しない。約束を後回しにする。それでもあなたが離れないことをどこかで知っている。本気の相手には男性はこうする。誤解を避ける。立場を明確にする。相手の評判や尊厳を守る。この違いは愛情の量ではない。覚悟の有無だ。あなたの価値を守らないという行動はあなたを下に見ているというより 自分のエゴを守っている証拠だ。責任を負いたくない。制限されたくない。自由を失いたくない。だから、あなたの価値が犠牲になる。これは悪意ではない。だが、無意識の選択だ。ここで、あなたに問いかけたい。あなたは、傷つけられていないから大丈夫、そう自分に言い聞かせていないだろうか。もし、守られていない関係がすでに答えだとしたら、あなたは、それを受け入れられるだろうか。男性が本気ではない女性に絶対にしない行動。それはあなたの価値を守るために自分が不利になる行動をとること。誤解を解く。立場を明確にする。他者からの評価を称。これをしない限り無意識の線は越えられていない。だが、尊重よりもさらに深い層がある。次の章で語られる行動は男性が最後の最後まで隠すもの。それは自分の内的変化をあなたのせいにするかどうかだ。あなたはその変化を感じ取っていただろうか。彼は変わらない。なぜならあなたの存在を変化の原因にしないからだ。あなたは気づいている。時間は流れている。会話も重ねている。感情も共有しているように見える。それでも彼の確信は動かない。価値観、優先順位、人生の軸。あなたが近くにいても彼の選択はあなたがいない前提で行われる。それは冷淡さではない。無関心でもない。無意識の隔離だ。カール・ユングは人が変容するとき、その引き金は重要な他者との関係によってもたらされると述べた。本気の相手とは関係が人を変える。選択が変わる。態度が変わる。世界の見え方が変わる。だが本気ではない相手に対して男性は変わらない。なぜならその人を自分の変容プロセスに入れていないからだ。変化は直感機能から始まる。この人といると自分は変わってしまうかもしれない。本気の相手にはこの感覚を受け入れる。不安でも一歩踏み出す。だが本気ではない女性に対してこの直感は拒否される。彼は変わらない自分を守る。それは保身ではない。線引きだ。あなたが彼に影響を与えている実感がない。価値観の話をしても彼は聞くだけ。行動は変わらない。あなたがいなくても同じ生活を続けられる。本気の相手には男性はこう言う。君と出会ってから考え方が変わった。前と同じじゃいられない。この言葉が出ないとき、無意識ははっきりと答えを出している。変化とは影と向き合うことでもある。弱さを認める。未熟さを引き受ける。価値観を組み替える。本気ではない相手の前で男性はそこまで踏み込まない。あなたは安全な場所に置かれる。だが重要な場所ではない。ここであなたに問いかけたい。あなたは彼は変わらない人だからと自分を納得させていないだろうか。もし変わらないのではなくあなたの前では変わらないだけだとしたら、あなたはその現実を直視できるだろうか。男性が本気ではない女性に絶対にしない行動。それはあなたとの関係によって自分を変えること。考え方、選択、生き方。これが起きない限り、無意識の線は最後まで守られている。だが、ここまで見てきた線引きにはまだ決定打が残っている。次の章で語られる行動は、男性が最終的に誰を選ぶかを一瞬で明らかにする。それは言葉でも態度でもない。選択の瞬間だ。あなたはその瞬間を見逃していないだろうか。そして、もし今の話のどこかで心が引っかかったなら一つだけ伝えておきたい。コメント欄の固定コメントにジャン心理学をベースにした沈黙が彼の無意識に何を起こしているのかを もっと深いレベルで解き明かした特別な電子書籍のリンクを置いてある。言葉よりも沈黙が彼の心を動かす理由、その裏側の仕組みが知りたくなる瞬間が必ず来る。その時にそっと覗いてみてほしい。彼は迷う。だが選ぶ瞬間だけは決してあなたの方を向かない。あなたはその瞬間を見ている。口では優しい。態度も穏やか。関係は続いている。それでも決定の場面で彼は別の方向を見る。仕事、住む場所、人生の優先順位、人間関係。あなたは今じゃないだけ、まだ準備ができていない、そう自分に言い聞かせる。だが無意識はすでに選んでいる。選ばれていないという事実をただ静かに隠しているだけだ。ユングは語った。人の本心は言葉ではなく選択に現れる。選択とは価値の告白だ。何を失っても守りたいか、何を犠牲にしても選ぶか。本気の相手には男性はこう選ぶ。不利になっても選ぶ。怖くても選ぶ。不確実でも選ぶ。だが本気ではない女性に対してその選択は起きない。なぜなら失っても自分が壊れないと無意識が知っているからだ。選択とは4つの心理機能が1つに統合される瞬間だ。思考で判断し、感情で納得し、感覚で現実を受け入れ、直感で未来を引き受ける。本気の相手にはこの統合が起きる。だが本気ではない女性に対して統合は拒否される。彼は分裂したままの状態を保ち続ける。あなたはその分裂の外側に置かれる。彼は重大な選択を終えた後にあなたに報告する。こうすることにした。もう決めた。相談ではない。共有でもない。事後報告だ。この瞬間、あなたは理解する。私は選択の主体ではなかった。これ以上、明確な線引きはない。選択の瞬間、影は必ず姿を現す。責任を負う勇気、孤独を引き受ける覚悟、失う恐怖。本気の相手には男性はそれを共に引き受けようとする。だがあなたが選ばれないとき、その影は彼の中だけで処理される。あなたはそこに呼ばれない。ここでこの物語を見ているあなたに最後の問いを投げたい。あなたは彼の言葉を信じて選択を見てこなかったのではないだろうか。もし選ばれない関係がすでに答えだとしたら、あなたはそこから離れる勇気を持てるだろうか。男性が本気ではない女性に絶対にしない行動。それは人生の選択であなたを最優先に選ぶこと。これが起きない限り、どれほど愛情があっても、どれほど時間を共有しても、無意識の線は最後まで越えられない。ここまで見てきたしない行動は冷酷な真実ではない。無意識の誠実さだ。人は本気でない相手に嘘はつかない。ただ選ばないだけだ。あなたの価値が足りなかったのではない。タイミングの問題でもない。彼の無意識があなたを人生の中心に置かなかっただけだ。もしこの物語を聞いて胸の奥が静かに痛んだなら、それはあなたが真実に近づいた証拠だ。コメントで教えてほしい。あなたはどのしない行動で立ち止まったのか。そしてこの物語が誰かの目を覚まさせると感じたなら、いいねとチャンネル登録を。選ばれない場所にあなたの居場所はない。だが選び直す自由は常にあなたのそばにある。それがこの物語の終わりであり、あなた自身の新しい始まりだ。
Those old stale desires don't feel so good, do they? And when you think about it, there's never a reason for a desire to hang around in unfulfilled form so long that it gets stale. Because when you ask, it's always given. So if you have stale desires, what's up with that? We understand how when some smart aleck, dead entity like Abraham would say, are you appreciating the contrast of your time and place? And don't you just love those desires that are being born out of it? We can understand how sometimes you would not want to give us a resounding yes. When you ask, it is always given. Step 1, ask. It always being given is a step 2 part. In other words, that's not your work. When you ask, it is always given. But sometimes, without meaning to, you may not be in vibrational alignment with what you're asking for. And it's easy to understand why that might happen, because you are physically focused. There's lots for you to observe. And as you look into your environment and you see those things, you cannot help but notice them as they are. And as you notice them as they are, you achieve further vibrational alignment with them. And as you achieve further vibrational alignment with them, you continue to offer more vibration about them. And as you offer more vibration about them, you continue to get more of it. In other words, we understand how, without meaning to, you might be achieving vibrational alignment with what is, even though what is not exactly what you want. Think about it. So, if you're giving all of your attention to what is, and some of what is pleases you, then you're getting more of that. But some of what is doesn't please you, then you're getting more of that. And then you say, Abraham, why do you keep harassing us by telling us that when we ask it is always given? Because that can't be true. Where's my stuff? There are all kinds of things that I'm asking for that is not apparently being given because I'm not finding it in my experience. And we say, it being given and you letting it in are two different things. You have to be in vibrational alignment. That's like saying, I can't hear what's being broadcast from that radio tower on my radio. It must not be being broadcast. So you tell all your friends, they're not broadcasting from that tower anymore because I can't hear a thing. And your friend might say, well, do you have your radio on? Do you have your tuner set to the same frequency? Because if you are not set to the same frequency of the broadcast tower, you're not going to be receiving what's being broadcast. And the same thing is true of anything that you are asking for. If you're saying, I want more money, I don't have enough money, I'm tired of not having enough money, I've never had enough money, I hardly know anybody who has enough money, I want more money, but I don't have enough money, I'm sick and tired of not having enough money, it's so irritating not to have enough money, not having enough money is scary, I wish I had more money, but I don't have enough money, I want more money. You're not a vibrational match to more money. You're a vibrational match to exactly how it is. And exactly how it is going to continue to unfold in your experience. Sometimes you say, I'm stuck. And we say, that's not possible because everything's in motion. You say, well, I'm stuck. I don't have enough money. We say, you're not stuck. You just keep recreating the same thing over and over. In other words, it's changing. It must change because the vibrational frequencies are constantly being emitted in the powerful now. And what's happening is coming in vibrational response to the broadcast that you are emitting. So it is constantly changing. It's just changing to the same thing over and over and over again. And that's really worth thinking about. In other words, when you put it in that context, doesn't that make sense? It is changing, so if I want it to change to something more pleasing, then somehow I've got to focus upon more pleasing things. And then you commonly say, but it is so hard to focus upon something that is pleasing when I'm surrounded by something that is not pleasing. And we say, but you can do it. You just cannot or may not be able to do it all at once. In other words, we don't expect you to go from beating the drum of something not wanted to suddenly forgetting all of those vibrational habits. We don't expect you to leave behind everything that you've worked so hard to come to believe. Sometimes people will say, I must focus upon that because it is true. And we say, and what makes this fact that it is true make it something that you now think that you must focus upon? And you say, because truths are truths, and we owe it to ourselves to give truths our attention. And we say, but why not be a little more picky about the truths you turn your attention to? When you say, this is a truth that I must focus upon, we say, all that a truth is something that somebody else focused upon. That's what made it a truth. When a whole lot of people focus upon something, it becomes true enough in enough of their experiences that you say, oh, this is reality. But what we want you to realize is that it is only true because somebody focused upon it. And just because somebody else focused upon it, we think it is a little bit illogical for you to say, I see this truth that I do not want, but because someone else focused upon this thing that they did not want and gave enough attention to it that they attracted it into their experience because law of attraction said that they must, now I think that I should do exactly the same thing. No logic in that, is there? So, what we are encouraging you to do is to make a decision that you will pay more attention to the way you feel, because when you pay attention to the way you feel, then you have awareness of what you are doing with your vibration. Your emotions are literally your guidance system to let you know how you are doing on your way to what you've been saying you want. Jerry and Esther have a wonderful navigational system in their vehicle. And the satellites in the sky, combined with the antenna on the roof of their vehicles and the computer that is in the vehicle, always knows where they are. So when they decide they want to go someplace, if it is a place that they do not know, they will program in the name of the city, the name of the street if they know it, even the street number. And Magellan will say to them, please proceed to the highlighted route. And then Magellan will guide them turn by turn to where they say they want to go. Magellan never says to them, where have you been? Because that has nothing to do with the only task at hand. The only task at hand is getting from where you are to where you want to be. And Magellan is so clear about what you said. It's a woman's voice. The man's voice was far too bossy. So Jerry and Esther affectionately call her, she. Jerry sometimes will say, shut that broad up. Because she is relentless. She never forgets what you told her you wanted. She never forgets where you said you want to go. So if you take a side trip, if you stop at Taco Bell or stop for fuel, Magellan will say, please proceed to the highlighted route. 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 She does not become more agitated. She does not get louder, but she insistently continues to say, please proceed to the highlighted route. And eventually, if you continue to ignore her and you go very far from the route, she will say, when possible, make a legal U-turn. You have a similar guidance within you. It comes to you in the form of your emotions. And when you pay attention to the way you can feel when you are upon your highlighted route. You can feel when you are in alignment with that which you are saying you're wanting. And you can also feel when you are not. It is exactly the same sort of guidance. So as you are paying attention to the way you feel, you are then able to, by reaching for thoughts that continue to make you feel better, you are able to keep yourself in vibrational alignment with that which you are saying you're wanting. The best words that we've ever heard offered in your physical environment were coined by Joseph Campbell when he said, follow your bliss. That's the key to success in all things. Absolutely true. But you don't have access to the feeling of bliss from your feeling of despair. The vibrational difference is too great, any more than you could set your tuner to 98.6 FM and hear what's being broadcast on 6:30 AM. In other words, they're different vibrational frequencies you're not going to hear. So, when you say, well, if I cannot follow my bliss, what hope is there for me? We say, well, follow the trail of bliss. And the first step from depression along the trail of bliss may very well be for you anger. You say, well, that's doable. And isn't it? Can't you feel it? Have you ever been in a place of depression where you couldn't get a breath of air? And then you thought of something that made you angry, and didn't it feel better? You gotta admit that anger feels a whole lot better than that depression, just like blame feels better than guilt. It does, doesn't it? blame feels a lot better than guilt. There is so much more disempowerment in guilt. There is so much more loss of the feeling of freedom in guilt. So, if you were, as most of you are, as you come to these gatherings, usually vibrating somewhere between frustration and overwhelmment and joy. In other words, that's usually where your emotional set point is, different depending on the issue that you're focused upon, but usually in the upper registries. We would not counsel you into anger from your feeling of frustration. That's going the wrong way. But if you are in despair, we will root for the breath of fresh air that anger would bring you. And the reason that we would coach you into anger is because we know that in that anger, you're going to feel some relief, and in that relief, you're going to have moved your point of attraction. It will have shifted a little bit. In other words, you're not as stuck in disallowing the well-being that you've been asking for as you were in your despair. Now, we would never say, just go to anger and stay there, because from anger, you can easily get to frustration, and frustration is a big difference in feeling from anger. So, are you getting the sense of this? What you're reaching for as you're moving up the emotional scale, what you're reaching for is the feeling of relief as you leave the resistance behind. So there is relief in anger. You know there is. And there is relief in frustration. You know there is. And there is relief in hopefulness. And then there's relief in belief. And there's absolute relief in knowing. In other words, you can feel when you release resistance, which is the only thing that is keeping any of you from what you are really wanting. You are pure, positive energy beings. You are God force in physical form. You are extensions of source energy, and life is supposed to be good for you. You are creators that flow the energy that creates worlds, and you are standing on the leading edge of thought. It is supposed to feel good for you. Life is supposed to be good to you. And when it isn't, it is only for one reason. You have picked up a habit of thought, and you've practiced the beating of that drum long enough that you have established it as a vibrational habit. And as you continue to feel that vibrational habit, unless you do something to change the way you feel, law of attraction is going to continue to bring you stuff that feels like that. And as law of attraction continues to bring you stuff that feels like that, and you observe the stuff that feels like that, and you justify the way you feel by the stuff that keeps coming, then we understand why you feel stuck. But we promise you, you're not. You just got a cadence going that you need to shift a little. We've noticed that sometimes very powerful, very good teachers who are counselors might not understand the power that you give yourself when you find something that feels a little better to you. Most people worry when you go from depression to anger. Most people who know you would rather you're depressed than angry. Because when you're depressed, you go away and you leave them alone. And when you're angry, you're in their face. You're hard to be with. But you must reach the place, if you are going to listen to the guidance system that is within you, and it is what the art of allowing really is about, the art of finding thoughts that cause me to allow my connection with Source, that allow the well-being that I've identified to flow to me. So, when someone says to you, you should not be angry, just say to them, maybe not, but I am, and I'm glad I am. You should feel how bad I felt before I got mad. This anger is a big improvement for me. And if you don't like it, go someplace else. I won't be here forever. But right now, it's what I'm choosing, and it feels good to me. Now, here's the power in this, and this is what we really want you to hear. Now, we're really not big encouragers of running around and telling people you're angry, because they will disagree with the appropriateness of it, and they will try to talk you out of it, and then you will just end up angrier, more depressed. In other words, we see so many. You're depressed, maybe. Some of you have never felt that. Most of you have at some point or other. When you really, really, really want something, and you really, really, really can't figure out how to get to it, it really, really, really feels awful. And the more important something is to you, then the more awful it feels when you feel powerless to do something about it. You're really going to like this. And if you don't, we like it enough for both of us. So, here you are. You are source energy. Part of you came into this body, splat, here you are. And you're exploring the variety, and you're knowing what you don't want, seeing plenty of it, which causes you to know what you do want, seeing plenty of that too. So you're launching these rockets. And you knew what you didn't want, which caused you to launch a rocket, but this rocket of what you do want, it's not very vivid for you because it just burst out of this contrasting experience, and it's not your habit of thought. This is. Knowing what you don't want, in this example, is more your habit of thought. So this rocket came, but it's a freak. It was born out of the contrast, and as you launched it, we saw it coming. We rode it immediately and became vibrationally part of it and held the frequency of it for you, for when you catch up with it. Not just us, but all those like us. In other words, we're on that vibrational vortex. It's spinning. And immediately the cooperative components, because of law of attraction, began to come to it. And so the momentum got really going good. In fact, it got going so good that you couldn't stick with it, not for very long. You launched it, but you haven't practiced it. So what are you left with? Oh, you gave birth to it, but you're not a vibrational match to it. So where does that leave you? It leaves you in emotional awareness of your separation from it. Well, big deal, Abraham. That's not too satisfying. So you're telling me I launched a desire and all I know now is that I'm not a match to the desire? Pretty much. But that's worth knowing everything, because if you know you launched it, if you know it's yours, if you know source energy is focused upon it, if you know source energy is holding the signal of it, then even though you're not a vibrational match to it right now, that doesn't matter, because you have plenty of time. It's not going anywhere. You now know that you've launched the rocket. And so now you say, all right, I'll focus upon the fact that it does exist, even though it hasn't evidenced itself. I'll accept that it's in my vortex, even though my point of attraction hasn't allowed me to realize it yet. I'll accept that I've done step 1 and that you're doing step 2, and I'll look forward to step 3. I'll accept all of that. I'm feeling a little better about it just thinking about that. Feeling better about not having the manifestation of it. In fact, maybe even feeling a little eager about it. So now you're talking in general enough terms that you are no longer a vibrational mismatch to it. You are, in general terms, matching it because you believe in law of attraction. You believe in your own worthiness. You believe in being human and launching the desire. And so now you somehow, some way, work yourself into vibrational alignment with it. In other words, you just stop doing the stuff that you've been doing that kept you from being there. You started focusing on laws and processes instead of evidence that was pointing out when you weren't doing it. You started focusing upon the laws and the processes that meant that maybe you could do it. And, all of a sudden, you click into place with it. You close the gap. You don't know really how you did it. You just monkeyed around with it until you managed it, but you came into alignment with it. And when you did, you felt relief. You felt relief as you released the resistance. And now you are a perfect vibrational match to your desire. Your grid and your desire equal one another. And now it cannot be any other way. It must reveal itself to you in full manifested form. And it does. And you say yes for a minute. Because in the moment that it manifests, you not only have the confirming knowledge that you have managed to find alignment with it, but you now have, we love you so much, another set of contrasting experiences, which are launching another rocket of desire to which you are not a vibrational match. But now you know what to do. This time it's not going to take you so long. This time you're not struggling so hard. So what if it hasn't manifested? It's coming. I know that I'm good at this. I can align. All I have to do is clear my mind and not focus upon the absence of it. Stop beating the drum of what I don't want relative to this. Stop keeping active the opposite of what it is and start thinking a little bit more about the presence of what it is. Or change the subject altogether and look at other things that feel good to me. And now somehow, some way, you don't really know exactly how you did it because you did it sort of gradually and incrementally. Maybe someone else walked into your room, some teacher, somebody that's holding you as their object of attention, knowing that you can do something that you didn't know you can do, and suddenly you're in vibrational alignment with it. You don't really even know how you figured it out, but oh boy, did you feel the relief of it as you came into vibrational resonance with this new desire. And now you are your grid. You are in the perfect vibrational place of what's in your vortex. There's no vibrational separation between where you are and where it is, and it flows into your grid, and you feel the exhilaration of the relief of that, and then it manifests, And this time you say, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that, and you're so happy for about that long. And as it manifested, now here you stand with it, the manifestation of it, evidence of your vibrational alignment, and we love you so much, another set of contrasting experiences that cause you to launch another rocket of desire. So after a while, you begin to recognize that you're not ever going to get it done. And then it starts taking the sting out of what's not done, because there's always going to be plenty that's not done. And instead of feeling bad about what's not done, you feel eager about what's becoming. And then you start putting your attention upon what really matters, which is how you feel. And then you start looking for relief. You start letting your cork float. You start deliberately raising your vibration. You start looking for reasons to feel good, making lists of positive aspects, going to the places that make you feel good, giving yourself the right, giving yourself permission to do more things that are fun and less things that are hard, more things that feel good and fewer things that are assigned to you by others who are trying to get you to prove your worthiness. And so you just keep finding yourself in alignment, and then blessed with the manifestation of your desire, and then alignment, and then blessed with the manifestation of your desire. Until before you know it, you don't ask the question, how can I be there more of the time? You just acknowledge, hey, I'm there mostly. And oh, every now and again, I get this fantastic piece of negative emotion that lets me know that I have some big expansion that I'm ready to come into vibrational alignment with. And then you begin managing your gap. That's really what this life experience is about. It's about how much endurance you've decided to assign to yourself. I'm going to endure my discord longer. And we say, why? And you say, because it makes me popular among other humans. They seem to like my suffering. And we say, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we'd suffer if we couldn't figure out how to do anything otherwise. But we'd be figuring out pretty quick how to relieve ourselves of the suffering of our own negative attention toward things that are a vibrational mismatch to the whole that we have become. You are the creators of your reality, and you came forth into these magnificent bodies with clear intent. And you knew that you would be exploring the contrast, and you knew that the contrast would inspire you to new heights. And you knew that that vortex would fill to the brim with all kinds of magnificent things, and that law of attraction would bring a synergy to it, and that the cooperative components would all be gathered. And you intended full well to be very speedily along the way to be one of those cooperative components. And you knew that you would have guidance within you that would let you know how much cooperation you were giving to this cooperative vortex. You knew that your emotions would tell you where you are, and it was your full intention to follow the thoughts that felt the best, knowing that life would just keep causing and expanding you, and that the fun of life causing and expanding you is to consciously keep up with that expansion. To consciously keep up with your expansion. That's what life is all about, you see. Not one of you said, I'll pay the price, I'll go forth and suffer, I'll turn the world around, I'll help point out the errors of their ways, I'll make the world a better place. Every one of you said, I'll go forth and I'll carve out my individual and powerfully important impression of what would be an improvement. And then I will punctuate it by aligning with my idea and allowing the evidence of it to actualize in my experience. That's what this expanding universe is all about. Here's the biggest piece that we want you to hear. We so want you to hear this. Stop beating up on yourself and make peace with negative emotion. All of you, we want so much for you to make peace with the glorious guidance system that you have within you. Make peace with negative emotion. Make peace with it. Make peace with it. You could not know a level of pain if it were not for a level of desire. Jerry said that to Esther. She talks to him nearly every morning. She talks to him all day, but she was specifically talking, reaching for some relief from her discomfort right after he made his transition. And he said something so powerful to her. He said, you could not feel this level of despair if it were not for the powerful love that you feel for me. That's really something to think about, isn't it? If that love were not there, the pinching off of it wouldn't hurt. So that's why we want you to make peace with that feeling of the pinching off of it, because the pinching off of it means that there's something that you could turn immediately toward if you just would accept that you're vibrational beings. We don't see you at your radio dial grimacing about the broadcast point of view of those stations that are out there. You just tune your dial to something that is pleasing to you. And that's all that deliberate creation is. It's tuning your dial to something that is pleasing to you. But you can't tune your dial to something that pleases you if you're beating up on yourself for it taking too long, or if you're beating up on yourself for not having tuned it, you say. How can I hold myself always in alignment? You can't. How can I never feel negative emotion? You can't. You know, that's like saying, how can I get more answers? And you know what the answer to that is? Ask more questions. Ooh, didn't see that coming. I like the answer part. I don't like the question part. And we say, that's what you signed on for when you decided to come into this contrasting environment. You knew that without exposure to life that would pose the question within you, there could not be that expanding answer. The basis of your life experience is freedom. You're so free you can choose bondage. Your objective is joy, alignment, joy, alignment, joy. And the result is expansion. But even if you don't accomplish your quest of joy, expansion still occurs. But joyous expansion was your intention. Joyous expansion, not just expansion. You said, I want the contrast, but I want alignment. And I want conscious awareness of expansion. Conscious awareness. Because what fun it is to identify that you want something and know that you're nowhere near it vibrationally. And then to deliberately focus on things until you can feel yourself coming into alignment better and better and better and better and better. Isn't it a lovely thing when we say you are the creator of your own experience? The contrast was when you put it there. Source answered it. It's you that allows the ideas to come, that allows the rendezvous to occur, that allows the details of the unfolding. When you watch the athletes, aren't they usually in their head getting ready to be ready? They know their bodies will do what they've trained their bodies to do, but that's not what makes the difference between the masters and the mediocre. It's the alignment. It's the tuning themselves to the frequency. And the nice thing is, in moments like this, where you actually do raise your vibration as you are doing, and you are finding vibrational alignment, then in the days that unfold following this, you'll have conscious awareness of the work that was actually accomplished. And of course, you don't need us for this. You can do it all day, every day. The easiest way to bring yourself into readily alignment is through meditation. Because when you quiet your mind, you stop thought. And when you stop thought, you stop resistant thought. And when you stop resistant thought, your vibration raises. And when your vibration raises, then you have access to what's in your vortex. So as it flows in, as you get this conscious awareness, something flows in and the idea occurs to you. And the idea, even though the money isn't in the bank or even though you haven't met the person you're looking for, as the idea of something exhilarating occurred to you, then you acknowledge, I'm in alignment. I'm doing deliberate creation. And before long, that feeling of invincibility comes, where you know for sure that you are worthy of whatever you're reaching for. And you trust law of attraction because it has never been anything less than consistent with you. So then you begin to recognize that somehow you have accomplished a sort of vibrational state of being. And if you're feeling sad, other things that match that jump on the wheel with you. And if you're feeling exhilarated, other things that match that jump on the wheel with you. And your whole world reflects what you've got going on. You can control your own vibrational manifestation into your actualization. And then it is our absolute knowing that you will begin living your life precisely as you intended when you came forth into this physical experience.